Hey guys, my name is Anthony, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Assetto Corsa Competizione and my first impressions of the game. So basically I have no background when it comes to Assetto Corsa. I didn't play the first one, and obviously the second one, Competizione, has just recently came out on console, and right now I don't have a PC that's really good enough to sort of play those type of games, so I mainly play on console. So this is the first time that I've played Assetto Corsa. But getting into the video, before I get into the video I should say, if you want to see more Assetto Corsa Competizione content, or if you want to see more F1 2020 content, then please hit the like button to this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers as quickly as possible. So getting into the video now, my first impressions, to be honest, they're not the best. To be honest with you, coming from a newbie's point of view, you know, for example, there is a lot of bugs in the game right now, and obviously there was going to be a lot of bugs coming into it because they're basically trying to take a game that's been optimized for the PC for quite a while now and basically trying to move it over to Xbox and PlayStation as best as they can. And I did hear from people like David Perel, I'm not sure if I said his name right, but he was basically saying that you know, it's quite an intense game in terms of how heavy it is, in terms of the graphics and in terms of the physics. So you know, the fact that they are basically trying to bring a PC optimized game over the console, it was apparently pretty difficult, and you can see that from the amount of bugs that are on the game. And one of the main bugs that really sort of annoyed me was present pretty much straight away. So I don't know if I have the clip rolling right now on the screen, but basically when I first put the game on, I actually tried to record this video that I'm recording right now live. However, I had to spend about 20 minutes trying to figure out how to leave the pit lane, because what I didn't know is there's a bug. I don't know if it's on PlayStation. I've not really heard any PlayStation guys mention it, but on Xbox, when you first turn on the game, it doesn't register your wheel the first time. So you literally have to turn the game on, then unplug your wheel, and then plug it back in. And sometimes even doing that doesn't work. You have to do that a few times. And I didn't know that when I first came onto the game. So I literally spent about 20 minutes trying to figure out how to get out of the pit lane, only to find out that it was because my wheel wasn't registering. And that's a huge issue, especially for someone who's new to the game. They're not going to want to purchase a game, and fair enough, Assetto Corsa wasn't the most expensive game, but no one wants to buy a game and then hop onto the game and then it doesn't work for you the way that you want to play the game. So, you know, in terms of a newbie's point of view, that is a big issue, and I'm sure that they're working on fixing that as soon as possible. So once they fix that, then obviously that sort of point is nullified really. But there's some other bugs as well. You know, I've seen a few clips on Twitter. If I can find them again, I might have them rolling on the video right now. It's just people are just driving and, you know, they sort of get pushed off, you know, off the road and stuff like that. But you know, there is a few bugs, and that's the main bug that I sort of wanted to talk about. That bug is a huge deal breaker to someone who's just spent almost £40 on a game. So, you know, in terms of that, not really the best. In terms of newbie sort of pick up and play aspect of Assetto Corsa Competizione, it's not really very pick up and play friendly, to be honest with you. There's a lot of settings that you're probably going to need to tweak, and that I'm currently tweaking to really get the game to feel how you want it to feel. So, you know, if there's one, obviously I know Assetto Corsa is more of a sim than say F1 2020 will be, but you know, I think the thing that people like about the F1 games is the ability to pick up and play, whereas, you know, with these sort of games, you have to do a lot of tweaking. So if you're somebody who... Hey guys, this is Anthony Post Production. Just wanted to quickly let you guys know that the gameplay that you're about to see is not from me, it's from one of my mates, Ben. Basically, I didn't have enough time to really get a lot of gameplay, so the beginning of this video, the gameplay is mine. However, moving on from this point forward, the gameplay is now supplied by Ben, so I just wanted to say thank you to him for supplying the gameplay. You know, you just want to pick up a game and you want to start playing it the way you want to start playing it. Don't think I'd actually recommend Assetto Corsa Competizione to you. I'd actually rather recommend that you wait a couple of weeks and get F1 2020, because that's more of a pick up and play type of game, whereas Assetto Corsa Competizione really isn't a pick up and play. But you know, even though there's a lot of sort of bad points towards the game, there is a lot of good points towards the game as well. And this is basically my first experience with a sim, because I did play Project Cars 2 but I didn't really play it for that long. I literally played it for like a couple of hours. So this is my proper raw experience with a sim, and honestly it feels amazing once you get the settings all dialed in that you want, or you know, you start to learn what different things do. The game feels fantastic. It's actually really rewarding to drive. Well, it is in my perspective anyway. When I can hook up, you know, a lap. I've only really raced at 2 tracks right now, which is Silverstone, Monza, but when I've been able to hook up a decent lap, and I'm not very quick on the game obviously, but when I've been able to hook up a good lap, it really feels rewarding. And the laser scan tracks, it feels really nice to drive on. I've not had experience driving on tracks that have been laser scanned because the F1 games don't really do that, but yeah, it honestly feels amazing. And going from an F1 car and having sort of the floaty physics that F1 2019 is known for, and then moving over to a game or a simulator where basically the physics are basically as on point as they probably could get right now, it was a huge learning curve. It was a huge sort of like punch in the gut, because you know, when certain braking points, for example, I know the track Monza, I know the track Silverstone quite well, but going from a car that's as light as an F1 car to a car that's as heavy as a GT car, like a Ferrari 488 or something like that, it was a real punch in the gut, really. You know, just having to essentially relearn the track, because you have to have different braking points. You have to brake differently when it comes to the car, but it's challenging and it's really good to do that. So if you're someone who you don't necessarily mind the learning curve that you're going to need to face in order to become pretty good at Assetto Corsa, you're gonna love the challenge. Honestly, I would say pick it up now. The 30 FPS issue that a lot of people have been having, me personally, I've sort of been on and off with it. At first I was okay with it, but now I'm sort of on and off with it, to be honest with you guys. It is sort of noticeable, but I've gotten used to it at the same time. It's a bit tricky for me, like I am used to it, but at the same time I do notice it quite heavily, and it is kind of annoying to put it lightly, to be honest with you. It is kind of annoying, but other than that, you know, it is a good game for now. It is a good simulator for now, and I think once they fix all the bugs, I'm not sure if they're ever going to fix the 30 FPS issue because of some problems that they were having, but other than that, it is a really good simulator, and I definitely think you should pick up the game if you're the type of person who you enjoy the challenge of learning new tracks and learning new cars and new combinations and stuff like that, and you don't mind having to go through a lot of settings in order to get things the exact way that you want them. Because, you know, right now I've got a Thrustmaster TX wheelbase, and on that I have the TM open wheel add-on, and looking through the settings, there is not enough buttons on that wheel that I have that to basically go with the settings. You know, I don't have enough buttons on the wheel to really get the full amount of the settings, because they're different type of settings. There's settings like, you know, you can increase and decrease traction control, you can do the same thing with ABS and stuff like that, and there's not enough buttons on there to really do all that and do other stuff as well. So, you know, probably in terms of the settings and stuff like that, it probably would be better if you had a wheel like a Fanatec, and even then it's probably a bit difficult because the Xbox only gives you so much functionality, whereas the PC is a bit better with that. But yeah, you know, honestly, from a newbie's point of view, for someone who enjoys the challenge of learning new tracks and learning new cars, it's fantastic. However, for those who just want to pick up a game and start racing, this is probably not the game for you, to be honest, in my opinion, from my first impressions. That may change as time goes on and I start to get, you know, a little bit more acquainted with the game more, but for now, that's my honest raw opinions of the game. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it in terms of my raw first impressions. That's why this video didn't really have a structured script or anything like that, which you guys probably could tell at this point. It's just because I wanted to get my raw first impressions of the game out there to you guys, so that you guys can make your own decision on whether you think that you want to pick up the game, especially if you're new to the whole sim side of racing. Obviously, I know a lot of my audience are F1 guys, but F1 isn't as much of a simulator as Assetto Corsa Competizione. There is a big difference in the way that the physics work. So I'm going to end the video there. If you liked my first impressions, if you want to see me make more content on Assetto Corsa Competizione or even F1 2020, definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll be posting another video soon. I'm not sure when this is going to go out. but if it goes out next week, then obviously I'll start uploading F1 2020 content once I get the game on the 7th. So I'll see you guys in the next one.